Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Corey and Kevin Talk About Nothing. If you're tuning in for the first time,
I'm Corey.
I'm Kevin, and welcome to our talk show podcast.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
So before
Yeah,
we get started, just make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. If you want to shoot us an email or anything along those lines, you can see our email down there. It's cktalkaboutnothing@gmail.com, or you can even shoot us a tweet, CoreyKevin1.
beautiful. Great intro right there. Let's just thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, just to get this out of the way, because it comes up every episode.
I'm hoping this is the question I've been hoping for, but let's see.
Right, like you should have finished something by now, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Leftover season 1, 2, and 3 now, right? I was gonna say Leftover season 3, but I didn't know how. I think you were on the beginning of season 2 the last we talked, which is actually pretty impressive now that we're talking about it. But you finished up, right?
I finished up. I finished it. It was easy once you started getting more involved. I mean, like I was already involved in it the entire time. There's a couple points in the show that stopped me a little bit, but just because I was confused, I think. And then, there's just certain things that I just,
Yeah.
So there's definitely questions I want to ask you.
Yeah, for sure. I have one for you though.
Okay. Well,
it's basically my only question that I have from anybody who's ever watched the show.
Okay.
Do you believe Nora?
Huh.
Do you believe Nora? In the book of Nora, she tells a specific story to Kevin Garvey, who had one heck of a try, when he's like, "Oh, remember me?" It's like,
Yeah.
threw me for a loop. I'm like, what existence is this?
Exactly. What is happening right now?
Yeah,
and that's
right.
so. Through the episode, I'm just I'll talk you through my thought process.
Oh yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So I had through that episode, I was there, like believing the possibility of what happened, I should say. Then like not necessarily believing it, and that's why she's where she's at the moment, right? Because like so that in my mind as I'm going through it, you know what I mean? So like because it didn't happen, that's why she's what she's doing now, right? Because she's living in this denial, regret type of thing. Okay, so she's living in this medium, right? So that's where my thought process was, and then you start going to it to where then she actually like truly tells the story of what it was, and then so like once that happened, I do believe her.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I do.
That's cool.
So
That's really cool.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, so like this is where the question gets like tricky to me, because I do believe what happened. Okay. But now my only thinking in this whole entire situation is so with that being said, was it real to real life? That's a different question for me than what it is for the of necessarily always being true. Okay, and what I mean by that, let me just explain what I mean.
No, I get exactly what you mean.
Yes, so dreaming,
it has
right?
to be real for Nora.
Yes. So with it being real for Nora, 100%. Yeah. Now, did it really happen in real life? Like with the I don't want to ruin anything, but with the Kevin Garvey life, right? With that whole situation, I don't know.
Like the ending of the film? Do you not? I mean, the ending of the film, the ending of the series. You're not sure if Kevin Garvey is real?
No. Sorry, I don't think I explained. What I mean by it is like I don't know if in what happened to Nora. So just talking about Nora, like
her story when he's at the table.
Yes. So in that story, was that real or was that a dream for Nora? Is my only like where it comes to play for me. Like is it something that like in her mind this is what she thought, right? This is where her mind went, okay?
Right.
So with that being said, is it just kind of like a sleep that she was in that they say that, things take forever. Things do this. So that's where I don't know, and they don't say it, so I just think that I'm overthinking the entire thing, to be honest with you. But in my mind, that's where I'm like, I don't know if I believe necessarily that like that happened. But why shouldn't I? I believe everything else. I mean, that's the hard part. So like I believe everything else. So like how can I disagree against that one? You know what I mean? Like the show is fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to go into it, all right? I love the show. The show was great. It definitely was plot twisting that I didn't expect, at times. There was definitely moments. The book, you don't realize some things, okay? But like, so not Nora's book, obviously, but the book
of Kevin.
Yes. That book.
Not my book.
Yes, not my book, yeah. So when that happens.
Because my name's Kevin.
Like, yeah. Yeah, I get it. Just move past it. But anyways, so and then like so when like you start thinking about it, when they put it in that book form, you start thinking about it like a book, right? And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you start connecting dots.
Seriously, it's weird. Like, things start happening.
Not be there. That's the problem, right?
Whoa. So,
now that you've seen the series in its entirety, there's a specific reason why Kevin Garvey is one of my absolute favorite characters of all time. Just because of the adventure that gentleman went through.
I mean, seriously, the insanity.
Just to, I don't even know. Like, his motive is to run, but yet he comes back to stay. I mean, when you see him wrapping his head up with plastic and then trying to get there, it's just like, oh, Kevin, where are you going, man?
Yes. What's going on?
What are you doing? But just extremely flawed, but caring, loving. Like, he doesn't want to kill anything. Like, that's one of the coolest things about him is like there's no like this super aggressive. I'm this macho man. I gotta kill something, or oh, that deer needs to be put down. No, just trank it and set it free, right? Like he's not Patty. He literally was gonna let her go and risk jail, which. I mean, I would too. I'm not a big fan of killing people. I have never tried it. Never will, right? So,
I totally get his philosophy.
Right. So it's like he doesn't want to kill her. So his only choice is to let her go. But yet his story is tied with hers.
Yes.
The one thing I wish Kevin did to prove, which I'm guessing they intentionally did not, to prove that Patty was real, was for him to tell her about the lottery and how she had won the lottery ticket. Oh. Tell her something that maybe Lori didn't tell about Patty to Kevin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like what? It kind of try to push for that.
Like, she told him stuff that I'm guessing was personal stuff. I mean, when he pushed her down the well and then had to go into the well, and I mean, she's talking to him and whatnot. Like, maybe none of it was true, but it would have been cool to be like, listen, I know you don't believe me and you think I'm going through some psychotic break, but here's some facts about Patty that I might not have known. And then she'd been like, oh, snap. All right, maybe you are, maybe you are talking to Patty. Maybe Patty really is there. I don't know. Because when he's in Australia and he sees Evie, who is clearly not Evie, and you start thinking, uh-oh, what am I perceiving wrong here?
100%.
Kevin, maybe you shouldn't do this, man.
Yeah.
Maybe you should not do this. When John is like, dude, I shot you in the chest, you bled out, and then you went home and then to the hospital the next day. Like, all right, yeah, I could see that freaking you out a bit. Like, dude, you should be dead.
Well,
and in fact, like, you were dead.
You were. Twice, but...
One of my absolute favorite episodes is Matt Jameson on the boat to Melbourne. When they're on that crazy orgy-filled lion party or whatever, wild. Yeah. But the conversation he has with that David character, who we actually see in Kevin's alternate world.
Oh, yes.
But he says he has a card that says, "Yes, I am God," right?
Yep.
The conversation he has with him when he has him tied up, and the belief that Matt just desperately wants to have, that he literally unties the guy because there's got to be this singularity of hope that this might actually be God, and then he might actually be fixed or whatever, and then he just realized that no. None of it was real.
No. And I think because didn't he get shot? I mean, not to ruin anything, but afterwards or eaten.
Eaten. Yeah. Yes. Which it's funny because like if he can come back, man, he's gonna come back looking gnarly, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, if you don't have Wolverine blood and you can regenerate, you're gonna come back looking pretty gnarly. Like, dude, you're alive. You look gross.
That's so funny. The one thing, so the question that I had for you, because you talked about it and I kept talking about it for myself, and I really don't have a single person, but I wanted to know who was the one person that you said that you and Jessica did not actually like throughout the entire thing.
Meg.
Oh, really? Yeah. I got it.
I just, it's funny because it's Liv Tyler, and I'm like, Liv Tyler is an excellent actor, and she's the only one who bothers me, but it makes sense why she bothers you, right?
Yeah, like it's they put the part together perfectly.
Exactly, and that like she plays it well. It's just like Rosamund Pike in I Care a Lot. She's a great actor, and she played the part well. I just hate that character. Like, I just didn't like that character,
Well, 100%, yeah. I couldn't agree with you any more than
that. But, yeah, that was the one that we were just like, she's just, don't like that one.
Gotcha. So the one person that, and I think that we kind of slightly touched on this a little bit, is still, like, I don't know. I gain more respect, but less respect. I keep going back and forth. But it's Lori. That's actually one person that I still stuck with that. I didn't like the fact that even when I don't want to like ruin anything, but when Nora calls Lori, okay. Yeah. So when that happens in her episode, okay. I didn't like the way Lori talked to her either. It even still, like, and I don't know if it's just, like, I'm just like, I just don't, you know what I mean? And I understand
probably wouldn't
what
like
she's
a
doing.
shrink.
well, yeah, exactly. That's probably, I think that's what it's just weird. It's just like, I don't like the way that, like, they're like, I don't want to call them con men, but they're trying to con you out of giving an answer. Like, that's the way they're trying to, like, they're like pushing you for it. Con's a bad word. I'm just saying, like, but like, they're like really, and I just don't like the way, and then that, I don't know. She just seems the entire episode. I just didn't like the entire thing. I just did not, that's one character I didn't love. So
the only time that I really was just like, well, first off, at the end of the first season when she couldn't even save Jill out of that building, the burning building, and the other time Lori really made me mad was when she was obsessed with her book. You know what I mean? Like, saving these people was not for her. It was, for them, it was for her. Like, she was doing this to write a book and sell it, whatever. And when that guy checks her, like, in in that because they want to like offer to do the book deal.
Yeah.
Like that dude checks her like, yeah, you're right, because you couldn't even be the one who pulled your daughter out of a burning building. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yep.
You were
100%.
so brainwashed. You were so in that the GR, the guilty remnant, that you couldn't even save your own daughter.
And then when she went and joined the remnant as well, like when that happened, annoyed me. Why? Once again, I don't know.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't like the character.
I couldn't imagine like no one in your family knows that you lost something. And nobody in the family knows that they lost something.
Yes.
And you're this psychiatrist or whatever, and you're supposed to be helping these people, and guess what? Nobody has the answers, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has the answers, man. So the only thing I always come back to why I love damn near every character is because I could never put myself in their shoes. Just because like that would be wild. Like if that happened to us, I have no idea what kind of person I would become. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
And I think that transcends so well because you have all these different characters who took it all differently. And so Lori's like this redemption story that I really, really enjoy just because she came to Australia for a very specific reason. To be that voice of reason. Don't do this, guys. You know?
Yes.
And I just feel like she is the only one in this whole like group, family, whatever, that is that voice of reason. Everybody else is looking for this answer, and she's this one who's like, guys, there could just be no answer.
Yeah.
And that is gonna have to be okay one day. Like you gotta stop looking for like these religious meanings that are just coincidence. They're building the boat to a homage to a child that died, not because a storm is coming. You know, like those crosses weren't put up there for some reason. They were put up there, they were put up there for a reason, but not his. Like everything was coincidental, and when you start connecting the dots that aren't necessarily there, it creates a very messy situation. Luckily, in this universe, Kevin apparently just comes back, which I do believe because many others have done it. David Rubin, I think is his name, has done it, right? The guy who John's father or grandfather, that horrible old man, was his guide the first time. And I'm trying to think of anyone else that we know that it happened to, but we do know that it has happened to other people, so it does. Yeah, I think it is real. Yeah. I don't think it's a religious thing. I just think like whatever caused this little thing to make people disappear also brought this other weird world. I almost equate it to So you don't get to know where the departed go, right? Like the departed are over here, and where Kevin goes is only where dead people go, right? And that's recently dead people. That's people that have died within like this amount of time. It almost feels like from the first. I don't
season?
know the Departed, like that. What are they calling? What do they call it? The Departing, or I don't know, but it feels like it's been like that amount of people, and that it just keeps loading up, and it's like whatever took the I don't know. There's all sorts of crazy ideas, but it just feels like that is real. That actually happened, but then I don't really know how to explain, like if it's real and it's happened to other people and they can maybe meet up in real life, how would he be the president, destroy everything, and never be able to go back?
Yeah, it's weird.
Would it destroy it for everyone?
Yeah, or just him.
Was it just him? Yeah. So there's obviously questions about the show, but overall, I'm fine. I love it. It's an open and closed book. It's a love story. Like it's such a it's such a beautifully well written love story.
It is 100%. Yeah. So don't be wrong. When you generalize it as just a love story series, you're not gonna get a lot of people to watch it. But I'm telling you.
Well, if they listen to the first 10 minutes of whatever we just said, they'll be like, "Oh,
that's different."
It might be a love story, but damn, that sounds very different. You know?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like, back to the acting portion of this show again. The season 3 didn't even disappoint the entire time either. Only person. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my Lori comment real quick.
Okay.
All right, Lori.
Yeah.
I didn't at first really hated the fact of that they were conning people. I think that's why this in my head is this way, is for getting taking people's money, pretending like they're that. Okay, and also when they were conning people out when Tommy was involved, when he was doing the hugging. Right, there's multiple things about Lori that bothered me. Okay, but when it came down to the season 3, to where her and John are working together.
And she explains.
Yes, that's when it changed for me. Okay. So that's when it changed for me. Don't get me wrong.
All right.
But that's one thing I'm like, that makes me mad. But I still think about what her and Tommy did, right? I know it was like Tommy at the same time, but also, I mean, she did nothing but benefit from the entire time too. You know.
I know. Yeah, it's not great.
So that's why season 2 Lori. Sorry, but did not like throughout most of season 2, and then I'm just saying she was just kind of a terrible character at the time period. Season 1, she just decided to up and leave, her daughter behind, and her husband.
Kevin Garvey cheated on her.
Well, 100%, but she didn't know that though.
Does that make it right or wrong?
It doesn't make it anything, but I'm just saying, and you think about in her eyes, it makes it. Oh, it's still wrong. I'm not saying that.
I was going to say.
Well, I said that wrong. It's still wrong no matter what, no matter which way. But she didn't know that. So in her eyes, I know she lost somebody. I'm not taking that away from her, but she also just decided that her husband and her other 2 kids weren't good enough either, and she's gonna go join the guilty remnant. Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah, you know why? Because they could disappear tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I would never be able to join the guilty remnant and leave my family. I understand. There's gonna be some hostility always towards the guilty remnant for people like us because I don't get it.
No, I don't get it. I don't understand that. But don't get me wrong, though. I mean, there's parts that, Kevin annoyed me, I mean, the character in general was awesome, but at the same time, when I'm thinking about, a friend of mine, if that same thing happened, that would annoy me or whatever it is. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But at the same time, Lori just seemed like she had a lot more negative than positive to me. Season 1, 2, and first half of season 3. And then I'm like, okay, she's cool at the end of it, but, I mean...
I love when she drugged them all.
Don't get me wrong. I laughed at that one. At first, I didn't know what happened.
When Kevin goes, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Lori just... Because, I was wondering, the son. I can't remember his name.
Wow, I literally was just thinking about it, too.
His dad's name is John.
Yeah, John and...
Michael?
Michael.
Is it? So he started talking really goofy, and I'm like, "Oh no, what's wrong with Michael?" And then when Kevin Garvey Sr. goes down, thump, I'm like, I think some pain pills were handed out.
Yeah,
some go to sleep pills.
Yes, nighttime.
Yeah, and then Kevin Garvey, I just thought it was funny. I really enjoyed seeing Kevin show up on the horseback because. He had this look of purpose. He had this look of, I finally know what I'm doing. He looked very excited to die. And it just was weird. Bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Bro, you're messed up in the head, man.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I know exactly.
Stop dying, dude.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, yeah, quit.
Whether it's real or not, your brain is rotting when you are not there.
100. Yes. When you're getting drowned, dude. I mean, there's something bad happening. I'm just saying.
Man.
All right, so I laughed and I almost wanted to actually send you a photo today when I was finishing it up. Well, I think I don't remember what it was, but when I saw it, when he shows up the first time with his policeman out, with his police coat on and all that. Do you know who it reminded me of? I know this is stupid and you're gonna make fun of me for this, but it's Rick from The Walking Dead, dude.
Oh yeah, I get you.
It just all of a sudden when he roll and he the way he turns is the same way Rick does. You know what I mean? He's like all proud and stuff. I'm like, dude, dude. Rick Grimes, are you back in the show?
Rick Grimes, what are you doing? Yeah,
yeah.
Run away from the enemy.
That's awesome.
I should stay and kill him, but I'll run away instead, like a cat burglar in the night. It's perfect, missed out. There's no fog.
That's awesome.
I can just run away into the smoke. Yeah, and especially he gets on horseback, like that's his form of travel.
Yes. I just don't get me wrong. It just made me
right.
Yeah,
I get it.
That's stupid, but
yeah, I really enjoyed seeing. I think season 3 opened up with the birthday party, right? At the house in Jordan, and even Jill showed up.
Oh yes. Tommy's birthday party. Yep. Cause
I just love the family they built. You know, like John and Lori, and although I miss Erica, John's wife, just because she's an excellent actor.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that confused me. I know that they were, I think, just still trying to include her in the entire thing, so it didn't make it weird with her and John. But like when Nora went and saw her, I mean, I know they talked, and I understand the conversation, and I get it, but like, why did she just make one more of that cameo, one more of that portion of it, that's it, Like, do you know?
When Nora visits her or whatever, and
during Nora's
she's
trip
by herself,
So
it
just
Evie
was kind of
had already been blown
terrible.
up.
I mean, terrible. Yeah. So don't be wrong, but at the same time, it just threw me off. Like, I just thought it was just a weird, just to throw in the episode and never see her again. Never hear.
I was actually excited. I saw on the for some reason. I was like, apparently my brain scans for names I know, because in the intro credits, not only am I watching the show, but you see the names of who's in the episode, and I saw Regina King, and I'm like, oh, sweet. And that was the episode that she was in. I just enjoy her as an actress. I was like, I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah.
All right. I was just pumped. I was pumped she was back in. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, don't be wrong. I mean, I like her. I'm not saying
I like where she blew up at that funeral memorial thing.
Oh,
or that
dude,
fundraiser, whatever that was. Yeah,
absolutely. And I thought that was a good way for her to go out. And then with Evie, right? And that's why I thought the whole thing was cool. And then to throw her but one time back in there was just kind of like I know, paying a tribute to her and making sure that she's still, you know what I mean, known about through their eyes.
I liked it,
but that's fine. You can like stupid ideas, but it's fine. Anyways,
you didn't ask me.
What do you believe? Do you believe Nora's story?
Do you want to know my answer?
I do, actually. Yes, for sure.
I do not believe Nora.
Oh. Really?
I believe that Nora has to believe that it happened, because for her, there's no other way to live. She has to know that her family is happy and happy without her.
Okay.
So that she can live. So she made it up. She made it up, and that's what she tells him. And you know what? He has no other reason not to believe her, especially all the stuff that he's done. And you know what? He doesn't even care. He believes her. I don't, because logically, she's the only person that's going to come back. She's the only person that's not going to use that machine. The dude just destroyed it after she went through.
She said that?
No, I'm saying like, if
I
she
gotcha.
asked the guy to build the thing to come back over, other people wouldn't be doing that.
Well, 100%. I mean, all the missing people.
There wouldn't be a bridge to where the others went.
I thought it was the whole point of making the machine too.
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, like that, like when I first watched it, and she, that I mean, I love that beautiful ending, especially because they're together, just telling the truth. Well, Nora's truth, and then that's I don't think it necessarily happened, but I understand. Just like you were saying, like for Nora, I think she thinks that happened because she wouldn't be able to go on unless she knew her family was happy. So, because if they, I would understand, like, oh man, like all right. So personally, for me, if I was unhappy here and I couldn't hold it together, and then I wound up going over there and found out that my family was not only having a great time at it, but laughing, having a great time, I'm going to go find a gun because I'm done. I'm not going back. I'm not doing this stuff anymore, right? I'm not needed anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just going to head on out. But you decided to come all the way back to just live by yourself. So I don't know. The more like the things that bugged me about my brain is like I just kept thinking about it. I just kept thinking about it. And like at first I believed her because I had no other reason not to. Right? I believed Kevin and all of his crazy stories.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't Nora's story be true? But the problem I ultimately come up with is there'd be people coming back over.
Oh yeah, everybody would come back. Why would it, like, the only thing that I could, because that's my brain was working as you were talking there.
Right.
What if, and now after she built it, what if people started coming back, right? You know what I mean? Because
so like after their conversation, the show's ended for us, but these people are like living on, like hypothetically.
Yes.
Eventually, in that future, people would be coming back and be like, hey, there's a machine.
Well, because they figured it out, right?
Right.
That's the thing. So they figured it out of how to do it.
She's been living there a long time, though, so.
Yes. Well, 100%. So you're right. I mean, I'm not definitely not saying that by any means. But at the same time, I think, like, so when the guy who built the machine, and I'm just trying to throw this out there, just a question to you, okay?
Yeah.
So when the guy built the machine, did he go over to where he went, to where the departed has gone, and then actually liked it because it was, for whatever reason, less people, you know what I mean, whatever it is.
Right.
So he wanted to stay there and didn't actually want to go back, and he, maybe he did that on purpose.
I mean, there's always that possibility, but there's determination in not just one person. You know what I mean? Like,
well, for sure, yeah.
So the likelihood that just one person gets to come back over, I'm just not buying it.
Well, you're right. I mean, okay. I'll give you that.
Personally, I'm not trying to persuade anyone because I get it. Like she gives a pretty detailed story, and that's also
very detailed.
And that's also a problem, right? Fill it with detail, and you have no other choice but to believe it. I don't know. Me personally, I think that she needs that to be a real story, and she needs Kevin to believe her. But I'd be like, oh yeah, Nora, I believe you.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, she's crazy. She didn't go. She's a liar. No, I'm just kidding. I would never call her a liar. I would like live in that same existence with her, but I would know deep down, like,
no,
the thing that I will always, bubble about and wonder about is Kevin's adventures into, that existence, the international assassin.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, it's definitely some very weird things. Okay, um, but like the only thing that makes me question it, and maybe this actually helps out the other argument, is like the people he sees there, though. So like when he killed Patty's husband, right? So when he kills Patty's husband, he doesn't know what Patty's husband looks like,
Right.
So he's never seen. Was his name Neil?
Doesn't know what Patty looks like as a child.
Yeah. So to me, there's certain things that make me feel like it's real.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
But it's probably part of the whole plan of the entire thing, anyways. You know what I mean? So
well, right, yeah, right,
yeah.
Like, well, we didn't really want to make you feel like it was fake.
Yeah, idiot. So, but but I'm just like, man, there's certain, I really, I did like that. There was the one that I just thought was weird, which I mean, I understand, but like, so when he got shot, and he goes and he has to sing. It's kind of a weird, just a weird thing, Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then, all right. So, at the end of the thing, I just want your opinion on this. So, at the end of where he's the president and the assassin. Okay. So when he's there.
Oh, when he's got to put in that extra security.
Well, that's hilarious. That is so funny. I guess it's a way to prove it, though, huh? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. I really laughed when Kevin, when he was the assassin, he's already walking the door.
Oh yeah,
he tries to open the door and he turns around, looks at it. He's just so pissed.
Flips it down.
This is what I love. Exactly.
The sound, the audible sound of it.
It's so funny.
Jesus, man.
Yeah, whoa, bro. Yeah. Because the first comment was, plastic surgery or whatever it was. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what is going on? Then it's thump. It's just,
right. Anybody can fake a retinal scan, but they can't fake your penis, apparently. President's penis is one and only.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was such a funny touch, like, for like these. And that's the thing, like, there are some pure comedic moments in this show where it was like ultimately a dark and depressing show, but there were some definite funny moments.
Oh yeah, I laughed at a couple things. Definitely. What's that?
What were you gonna ask my opinion on,
though? The question was, so okay, I think we were talking about the feeling of, of that. So this is not comedic, but when he has to go in and they cry together as they're getting ready, when he has to cut out the key. We were talking about acting, and that was impressive. I mean, really, in the camera shots, the entire thing was fantastic. And I even tried, like, during that, to look for flaws because I thought it'd be funny to find one.
Right.
The only one that was even questionable was when, like, at the end of it, when the president is sitting on top of the other one, the face that's on the ground may or may not be him, but there's a super dark shadow, so you can't really tell necessarily.
I got you, right.
So, other than that, it was flawless. I'm like, dude, it was so cool, dude, man. He did a fantastic job.
I've rewatched that scene, like, on YouTube so many times.
Oh, have you really?
Such a great scene when he starts reading the book, the last page, and then the guy's just like, "Get this thing out of me,"
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god! And then he says, "We fucked up with Nora."
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we did, man.
Yeah.
Man. And that's it. That's the whole thing, man.
Yep.
Go get Nora. Go get Nora,
Wow.
Kevin.
So
never
let me ask
stop
you this.
searching. Never stop stopping. Wait, never stopping.
Never stop. Stop it. Never. What happened with the storm? Did Kevin's world, when he blew it up, did that stop the storm from happening? Or is it just a storm?
Me personally, I think it was just a storm. I think that's kind of why we were given that one intro where they're standing on top of their roofs, expecting the rapture or something.
Got it.
Yeah, like I feel like that went with, like, you're connecting dots that just aren't there.
Got it. Okay.
And like that becomes like a really dangerous game.
For sure. The only reason why I thought it was weird and like with the way that everything happened is because like nothing against the show and I'm not taking anything away from the show, but if they built it all up for Kevin Sr. to just end up being this overall just guy that is just a crazy guy, you know, with all these crazy beliefs, I wanted some more from that. You know what I mean? I wanted like.
Well, yeah, but that's connecting dots that aren't there.
Well, yes, but at the same time, this man got bit by a snake.
Here's the thing: you want more from it, so you will force the signs. You will force.
Okay,
that's the point.
Okay, so I'm left over with anger then.
Okay,
the leftovers.
There was like so much of me that I wanted Kevin Sr.'s story to come to something, but when we got to Australia with him, I'm like, oh, this dude's lost it. This dude's really lost it, and he's struggling, you know. And then, at the last moment, I'm on these 3 crosses, and she rolls up. You know, it's like, oh, I get to believe again, and then we get to, you just had the wrong Kevin, you know. It's just like,
yes, well, for sure, yeah.
And look where faith can leave us, you know. That lady murdered a police chief named Kevin.
Yes,
you know,
and nothing ever said about it. Yeah.
No, they chucked his body underneath a half-built church or
but she will
apart church.
Yeah, she will say something. Yeah, she'll turn herself in.
I'll turn myself in once this is all over.
Yeah, sure.
Sure you will.
Yeah,
sure you will.
Sure. So,
yeah, when it was like this thing of the Egypt, like it was the National Geographic, and you got to go to Cairo, Egypt, but there's like some really funny things because Patty, when she's in the truck with Kevin, and he's like, "What the hell do you want me to do?" And she's like, "All right, now that you asked, we need to go to Cairo." And she's like, "I'm just kidding. I have no idea what the hell you're supposed to do." Yeah, because it's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not real, and it's nonsense. But so many things. Like what are you willing to believe in? You know what I mean? Like it toys with so much of that. It's crazy. But I stopped believing Kevin Sr. when we got to Australia, and he was like, I had to learn all these songs
about singing. And it started with that. That's another thing that made me question him, too.
Yeah.
And then when they sat on top of the thing, when Kevin said he did not believe him, when I can't remember his name. I was trying to remember it.
Chris Columbus? No.
No, it's
Chris Columbus?
No. Oh my goodness. Dude, you're close. You are close.
Oh man, I love his character. He's like, my song is "Bring the Rain," not "Stop the Rain."
Not "Stop the Rain."
Yeah.
Man, I am seriously drawing a blank right now. But that's actually what you just said is the point I was going to say actually. So when he says that, and then
Christopher Sunday.
Sunday, yes. Like, when you say Christopher,
Sunday.
I'm like, dude, that sounds like that's it. Like that's it. You know, I couldn't figure it out.
He was I loved his hair.
Oh,
Christopher Sunday's hair was just. I was like, I would be so happy with that hair. That hair just was like really awesome. But yeah.
I don't remember staring at his hair, to be honest with you. But I mean, I remember the scene very well.
Apparently, the weird things I look at, but
yeah, long hair guys, you know.
Yeah. Long-haired guys. It wasn't even that long. It was just like really poofy and really nice. It looked like just like freshly combed. It looked great. Anyways.
Got
it. I don't know. Yeah, I really liked when Kevin like finally got to talk to the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Christopher Sunday, and
no, Australia, but it's fine.
New Zealand. Prime Minister of New Zealand. Look back up. Chris Sunday was the Prime Minister of New Zealand at the time of Kevin's something adventures. But But when he asks him, he's like, I don't know, do you believe him? Like, I wasn't convinced.
Dude.
Like, do you? And he's like, yeah, you're right. I'm not convinced either. And then it's like, well, what are you doing here, man?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't get to find out where that lady's kids' shoes are.
No. Mm-mm.
And that was something that, too, that, like, all right, when they drink the water, they pretty much are wiping out their memory or how they're killed or whatever. They're given, like, an alternate reality because, like, Evie, she would have drank the water because she thinks her parents died in an airstrike, right? You know?
Yes.
So it's, like, kind of like a reverse death or whatever happened to them. And I was like, I don't know. Like, that seems a little weird. And then, like, I also thought it was weird that you come to this place and these people are just automatically there. I know Chris Sunday wasn't automatically there. He had to actually work to see him. But, like, the main people that you needed to speak to... Oh, was I wrong?
You were wrong. I just want you to know. I had to double check myself. I went to 2 sites. It even says Christopher Sunday, who's Prime Minister of Australia.
Really? Man, I could have sworn it was New Zealand. All right. That's cool, man.
Sorry.
I'm going to table that for right now. I
You're
believe
gonna
those
rewatch
two
episode
websites
tonight.
are wrong. But that's all right. But yeah, it became a thing of, like, I want nothing more than, like, this dude to be right, but ultimately, like, I don't want it to be right.
No. Yeah.
Personally, I was like, I'm like, I don't want this to, like, get, like, I'm the opposite of you, right? I don't want to get down to the very end and be told that God has done this, right? Like, or that this is some religious event.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happy with the more chaotic nature of it, of big old question mark, right? Where you're like, come on, man.
Yeah. Let's
Matt
go.
Jameson. No, man. Matt Jameson was wrong, bro.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I feel like that's the only reason was because the way, like, my brain works towards, like, that type of scenario is where, like, I'm like, all right, I'm cutting you off. You're starting to sound like a lunatic. Not really a lunatic, but, like, somebody who's just gone too far. Like, you're putting all your faith into this basket, and you're not asking any questions anymore.
Yeah, and don't care.
You're just like, oh, that's a sign. Oh, that's a sign. And then Oprah's just like, you get a sign. You get a sign. And you get a sign. And then stop sign theory comes out, and you're like,
I liked it.
I believe it fully now because stop sign theory.
Me too. 100%. They don't face each other, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, stop signs. They're sisters on the street that cannot see each other or something like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed, like, the big question mark because they didn't rule it out.
Yeah.
But not everything is a sign. Like, that's the problem. Like, you can't just be like, oh, that's a sign, and this is my next point in my adventure. Oh, I'm supposed to do a rain dance at every single sacred burial spot or something, you know. Yeah. It's like, what sign told you that? You know?
Yes. Yeah. I 100% agree that he has absolutely lost his mind. You know what I mean? That I totally agree with that. But at the same time, though, the way they spent the time on him on the show made me a little bit more, like, wanting more, right? That's why I didn't necessarily want to go down that route of not believing him right away, because I've spent a lot of time getting to know this guy, getting into, you know what I mean, hear his theories and hear his this, hear his that. I'm a little invested like he is right now, so to come to find out that none of that's true, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no great
answer.
storm. There was no...
yeah, you know what I mean? And then his thing is, like, he doesn't want to come down because I think that he realized he was wrong, right? That's so I get where you're coming from 1,000%. You know what I mean? But that made me a little bit upset.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're like, can't I just have one answer?
Yeah, for sure. So
they specifically left the ending very ambiguous, just because it's like, you know, it doesn't, like, matter. You didn't experience it. You don't know.
Yeah.
And then it's just, like, kind of like a really cool way to end the show, because you just really ultimately we see the two characters more, basically our central characters, Kevin and Nora, finally admitting to themselves and telling the truth and talking about it. That's one thing they just don't do in that show is actually talk about their problems. I mean, she walks in on him suffocating himself, and she's like, "We don't have to talk about it." It's like, no. Like, that's the opposite of what you should be saying.
For sure. No.
You should not be promoting him suffocating himself.
No. And then I was one character I think that I was shocked that actually didn't make more of an appearance. Actually, is Jill.
I was actually shocked that she really wasn't in much of season 3
at all. I thought when she made her comeback, something was going to make her stay there, right? And she came for the party, had a little bit of a scene, and then left. Yeah, that was it.
Must have had some other job.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's an actor, so you know what I mean. That happens. So
yeah,
I get it.
I would have to agree. We didn't get much of Tommy season 3.
Nope. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he was
a little bit.
You got a little bit, yeah.
Right, a little bit, but yeah, like I felt like I loved seeing Kevin and Nora, but I was like, can I just have another episode of just all the other people? What are they doing?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, Matt Jameson is like one of my absolute favorite characters too.
Oh, me too. I absolutely, yeah.
And he was like the religious one, but his episode, man, where he takes that guy hostage on that boat in season 3, man, it was just like you're Kevin Garvey Sr. in it right now, bro. Yep. You're not in good shape. Everybody knows you're not in good shape. Like you need to start looking at the truth here.
Well, 100%. Well, because he was sick and he didn't want to say he was sick. I think that was his whole problem. You know what I mean? So he was beating himself up internally about saying that. He was sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's wild even like for. That's right. The last time we talked, I asked if you believed Matt Jameson about his wife if she woke up, and you said no.
Yes, I'm an
idiot. She woke up. He's not some sicko.
Well, good. Yeah. That made me like him 1,000 times more.
Yeah, right. Oh, we don't have to wonder about that anymore. She woke up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, fine. She admitted to it. We're in there. You know? We're good.
We've spent pretty much the entire podcast talking about The Leftovers, which I could talk about it for a while.
Yes.
I do love that show, but we did watch another movie.
Yes,
so,
we did.
Do you have any other questions about The Leftovers?
Not that I have written down or anything. Everything that I had written and things like that, we actually touched upon, and
perfect.
So we're good. So I will probably still be thinking about it. I just finished it today, to be honest with you. So it's still processing. So,
dude,
you know what I mean?
And I'm telling you, man, it takes weeks to process that one. Obviously, you saw me. I'm like, I'm ready to dive in again, man.
Yes.
Another scene that I've gone back and rewatched many times is Nora talking about the beach ball at the baseball game. Before she really does the thing, because it's like, oh man, she's such a hurt person. Like parents being taken from them, and now her kids were taken from. Like she suffered so much loss, like you couldn't even imagine. And
100%.
I feel like she just reverts to like this childlike state of like telling this beach ball story, and man, it's just very beautiful. But all right, we'll move on.
All right, we'll talk about this more.
Yeah,
later.
We'll talk more about The Leftovers on HBO later. And if you haven't watched Leftovers, you pretty much have just by listening to us, and Absolutely. You might as well go and watch the whole thing on HBO.
It just hits different.
It just hits different. Speaking of something that hits different, it is an Amazon Prime. Just kidding. But we are switching over to Amazon Prime for this sucker.
Yep.
A movie featuring the great Michael B. Jordan.
The great.
Without Remorse. I was like blanked for a second. I was like, wait, what is that title? Without Remorse. There it is.
Tom Clancy's, yeah.
Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, which I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I'm very happy with the end credits. Like, did you stick around for after the credits?
No.
Gotcha. All right.
Well, go ahead though. I mean, go
Well,
ahead.
I'm not gonna ruin it, no, because it's a brand new movie, so I'm not gonna ruin it on the podcast. You know what I mean?
All right.
But I was pretty pumped about it.
Okay. Makes me mad that I didn't. I could have
Yeah.
swore that I seen it all, but I mean, I definitely stick around for after the credits. So
It was like mid credits. Yeah.
we'll see.
Overall, I liked the movie.
Yeah.
But a little boring
Mm-hmm.
and underutilized.
Yep. I agree with you across the board on that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, so I mean, but go no good. I don't. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I definitely would recommend it. I love Michael B. Jordan regardless. I don't feel this movie like showed off his acting chops really all that much. Like Michael B. Jordan has a lot to offer, and I feel like this was just like I don't know, like missing something. Like it was like missing an element, you know?
Yeah.
The fight scenes were cool, but
Yeah.
but short.
Very short. That's the thing I didn't like about it.
Yeah, and then one thing that I keep coming back, the only thing that really bothers me about the movie is he took the time to like dump alcohol over himself and piss on his clothes just to get a closer look of a guy entering a car, and then after that the whole thing was useless. I'm like, man, I'd be a little salty about that decision making. I'd be like, because he's driving that vehicle smelling like alcohol and piss.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, you didn't think that one through.
No.
But I did love that scene
This. Yeah. Well, you don't. Yeah. The scene
where
was
he
sweet.
gets in the car and he's like, tell me. Because that was awesome, man. I'm like,
That was fantastic.
that's a way to get a guy to tell the truth. But
Yes.
overall, way toned down. Like,
I thought there was going to be a lot of action. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was action, but like Tom Clancy to me is not a story person. Personally, it's not like a person's going to be like tell this great novel.
so
story.
yes, there's. Well, that's the funny thing. They are novels. Tom Clancy originated as novels, and then
Really?
are also video games.
See, I go by the video games. The video
Yeah,
games are
right.
not. I don't. There's not a storyline behind the video
Rainbow
game. You know.
Six, which is yeah. So yeah, like I get where you're coming from on that, but yeah, there's Tom Clancy novels.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why it's
It's
Tom
a-
Clancy's.
All right. Now I can understand a little bit more. That makes me angry. But
Wait a minute, why wasn't Michael B. Jordan's name Tom Clancy in that movie?
I'm upset. No. I knew there
I
was,
know, yeah.
but I thought it was based off of. I thought he was a like a war book novel type thing. That's what I thought. I thought he actually wrote that, and I just missed. I just was totally wrong. I should have did my research on the guy. I guess.
No,
Might be-
yeah, that's. I mean, most people are probably thinking like I play the video games of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, 100 other games.
Yes.
But no.
Got it. But
Now, like I said, watch the mid credits, or I could tell you after we're done recording. But the end credit, mid credits, or whatever were pretty cool.
okay.
But yeah, like if they do make a second one, I'm asking for a little more.
Yes, 100%. We got the story now. We got
Yeah.
what we were coming for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the storyline, because that's the thing. The storyline was good. I mean, it's very.
It's just
I mean,
recycled. It's
yes,
same thing.
100%.
Like, we've seen
Yes.
this 100,000 times now. Yeah.
So that's where I think I needed more action to cover up that.
Yeah, because otherwise we're just seeing a story that's already been written that we've already watched 100,000 times.
Exactly. 100%.
I agree. Spend less time on that, which they didn't really spend a whole lot of time on, but they didn't really spend a whole lot of time on the action either.
No. Well, the problem is, but they kind of. I mean, you know, the entire thing of Michael B. Jordan in this, and throughout the entire thing was to make him the killer say his name before he passed. So Pam was brought up a lot in the thing, you know what I mean? So his whole drive was for that, and I understand that, but it's still kind of brought up quite a bit, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So-
yeah.
You know, that's my only. I'm like, well, I just don't really. Like it was good. I don't want to.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I don't want to I don't want to say like it was a good movie. Like there was nothing that like there weren't scenes that were bad. There weren't acting that was bad. It was just left me wanting more. So yeah,
you get it. That's it.
Yeah, actually, it was funny because Jessica had fallen asleep, which I had called because I was like, "You're gonna totally fall asleep." She's like, "No, I won't." I'm like, "Well, you will." But anyway, she did, and she even was like, it was just kind of boring, and I'm like, yes, like there were some low parts, and it was already kind of a slower movie, so like when it was like slow parts, it was like, okay,
yes.
I don't know why we're spending so much time on this.
No. I mean, there was scenes that were really cool. There was a lot of build up.
Oh yeah,
but for very little payoff though too. The scene, okay, and this is in the preview, so that's why I'm going to say it. The part in where he's in the jail cell, okay, and he gets himself prepared for that. The whole setup of it was sweet. The 20 seconds of the fight scene were sweet. But then after that, it's over, right? It's just, you're done. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I don't understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like the problem of trailers too, because you literally actually showed the majority of that scene.
Yeah.
So when we came to it, I'm thinking, oh yeah, even more guards are showing up. You're amping me up even more.
Yeah.
Stand down.
Yeah.
Got it.
I even watched with somebody else. So when they were sitting over there, I'm like, oh, this scene's gonna be awesome. Let's go.
Yeah. That's
all of a sudden it happened. I was like, yep.
That's like season 2 Punisher in the jail. You watched that, dude? Just dude after dude. Like, man.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Where?
Was this PG-13? Is this a PG-13 movie? I never thought to even like.
Yeah, I gotta pull it up.
Do they issue ratings for streaming movies now?
Actually, it's rated R.
Okay. Wow. Amazon, step it up. Here's the weird thing. You have The Boys, which is a very violent show. Like you guys, and I hear The Handmaid's Tale is pretty. It doesn't shy away from anything either. So I've never watched it, so I don't know what the content is. But what happened to this? I don't know. I felt like
just empty.
You ever watch the movie Shooter? Or not Shooter. Looper.
Oh.
Looper.
Yeah, that's the one with what's his name? The guy from, is it Die Hard?
Yep, Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes.
And it was a cool movie, and I did not hate it, but it left me wanting more. Like I think like it totally missed. It should have dealt with more of like the Rainmaker and anyways, like that's kind of how I felt with this movie. Is like, man, it just kind of missed. Like it just I mean, there was, like you said, there are some cool scenes. Like, there was some cool action. There was some cool scenes. I'm not a big fan when you just throw a grenade and the car just perfectly blows up either. You could do better. Make it look a little more messy, but whatever.
Yeah. But that scene was sweet. That's what I was going to say. That scene was awesome.
Yeah. But also...
wrong things.
Yeah. So,
well, for sure. Yeah.
I would say definitely watch it because it was it's like such a hard thing to balance because like it's a good movie. There are lots of cool things. Yes. Michael B. Jordan was good.
He was fantastic. I just have one gripe, and I'm gonna say the least amount of possible to ruin it. I'm just gonna tell you my gripe. We want to talk about it. Is when he gets in the bathroom when there's somebody there. And then I like the scene. I like the way he acted because he like sold it to him, you know, with the person he's talking to.
Oh yeah.
And then so that's fine. Getting in, okay, I get it, right? You're a single person, very stealthy. How are you gonna carry another man's body out when he's supposed to be watched? I'm just saying, you know, like that's one thing that like, and I'm trying not to think practically. Yes, on some things, which is a little bit off, and that one bothered me. I can let other things go. The other stuff, I'm like, nah, okay, whatever. And then certain things, I'm like, no. I
catch that stuff too because it's just like, just because you left it out of the movie doesn't mean I'm just we'll just sweep that under the rug. Like, how? I don't know. Yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
That's my only one. Yeah. I mean, you can sneak through a vent.
Gripe.
Yeah.
Well, 2 gripes. Could have been more. Should have been more.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the rating on it, though, I just want to give the rating. Give it the R rating first, and then I do the Rotten Tomatoes.
Let's see.
Rotten Tomatoes is giving it a 45%. I scrolled down too much. Yeah, 45.
Ouch! I wouldn't go that far, but
yeah.
Okay.
And then an IMDb is giving it a 5.8.
Jeez, not even like the normal 7 out of 10 that almost like every movie gets. Wow.
It's crazy. I mean, 79% of Google users have looked it up. It's funny. So I just read something real quick on the Google users thing. So I was just clicking on it, and then somehow like it clicked on like a website when I was like doing it or whatever, the one time, and it came up and said people that actually vote for this like will go on and actually put the Google users. They say never go by that, because what the Google users are is if I hate a movie, I'm not going to look it up, right?
Right.
So I would never hit the like button ever. So 90% of the people that go into that thing, the only people that will do that is because people are going to, you know what I mean? So I'm like, that's funny.
Because they liked it. Yeah.
I like that. Exactly.
That's a pretty funny way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. I will never hit the negative button. You know what I mean on this one?
Mm-hmm.
I might never hit the thumbs up button because it's a questionable one. If I love it, absolutely. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things that's like, nah, it's funny. I mean, I don't Google search ones that I hate and to put my thumbs down on it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, right, right.
So I'm just saying.
Well, sometimes I Google them, see that it's like a 2%. And I'm like, yep. Which I was just on like Voodoo the other day looking at deals. And I was like paying attention to Rotten Tomato scores. And there was like a 7% or whatever. And then I found a 0%. Oh, what was it called? Second something. I can't remember it, but it was with Ryan Phillippe. And I'm like, man, Ryan Phillippe, your career just nosedived, bro. I shouldn't be laughing. That's an awful thing to joke about. But yeah, a 0%. So that's and then I joked. I thought it'd be really funny to be like, just watch 0% Rotten Tomato movies.
Yeah.
Find one that's inappropriately categorized.
I mean, we probably could. I mean, a 0 is pretty far
That's
down.
low. So that bar is low.
Yes. So, I mean, if we went for like a 10, we might find a dime in the rough. Yeah. But zeros, maybe. I mean, I'll watch them.
Unless we're the very first people to watch that movie. Which, if you have a movie that you want us to watch and you made it, I don't care if it's professionally made or not.
Yeah,
we'll watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll tell you how we feel about it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Without honor. No. Without remorse.
That is funny.
Without further ado, without remorse. With Michael B. Jordan.
No. Give it a watch.
Give it a watch.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah. Shoot us an email.
Send us a tweet. Say, hey, at CoreyKevin1, we would like to tell you, or I would like to tell you about the movie that you guys watched and I had watched. And that's already a lot of characters, so maybe shorten it so that you can tell us how you actually feel.
Done.
Don't make me tell you how to type it out.
Yeah.
That's to do it yourself. DIY tweets.
Whoa.
Hashtag DIY.
Yeah.
It's like the, what is that? 40-year-old virgin. Do you like to do it yourself? They're like, answer everything with a question.
Yeah. It's so fun. I haven't watched that movie in so long. I gotta watch it.
Yeah, that's just a classic, good, funny one, man.
Steve Carell, man, good stuff.
Yeah. All right, cool. You got anything else?
That's it, man. That's it.
That's a wrap.
We're gonna
let these fine people off on their journey.
Absolutely. Next time you guys see me, I'm a fresh vacay from Colorado.
Ooh.
And we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about the sights
experiences
and the scenes and
absolutely
and the whatnots.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, cool.
Well, you go out and have yourself an adventure. We'll all be waiting to hear back. And thank you, everybody, for spending some time with us.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.